you would use sighted guide to help them get there if you wanted to help them out, okay? Another one, when entering a room and exiting a room, for a person who's blind or visually impaired, they're not going to know you came in and they're not going to know you left. So it'd be nice if you would just say you've left or say you've come in. Now you don't have to come in like, a Disney character. I'm here to save the day, nothing like that. You just need to come in and say, hey, hi so-and-so, this is, Tiffany. Or, hi Amy, I just walked in, this is Tiffany, how are you doing? Oh, okay. Then they know you're there and then you're part of the conversation. Also, when you leave, it's important to let people know that you've left. I have a personal reason for that myself. I have teenagers, children, girls, okay? And so what they will do is, I was in a store and I was in the grocery store and I'm talking to them and we get to the cereal and then, Mom, can we get this particular cereal? It had a lot of sugar. So I'm like, baby, we can't get that kind. We don't do the sugar thing. It's not really good for you. Oh, come on, Mom, please. Can't we get that sugar kind? And then now I'm going to get on my soapbox and explain the dangers of sugar. So I get up and I go, hey, Katie, no, listen, you can't do this because sugar does this and it binds with that and blah, 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 blah. And I'm in a good, deep discussion. And they've left. My kids, they have left. They have walked off to another aisle. And I'm standing there deeply into my third paragraph explaining what's up about sugar, and I'm looking rather stupid, and the only person who's seeing me are the people who are walking by going like this. So for all those reasons, please, if you leave a room, hey, I'm about to go, so-and-so, see you, and you go, okay? It's also good to call the person by name, because if we don't know you're talking to us, so if we're in a group of people and you say, so what time are you supposed to get down to the carnival? I don't know if you're asking Tom, Dick, Harry, John, or anybody. So it'd be nice if you say, hey, Tiffany, what time are you supposed to get to the carnival? Oh, then I know you're talking to me. I'll answer. Otherwise, you're just going to get a dead silence, something like this. Okay? All right. Here's one. Don't worry about using common everyday words. You can say, did you see the mastodon? Did you see the mom's attic area? Did you see the cars? Yeah, we see it differently. The word see is just a word. So it's not going to offend us if you use the word see. See is okay. We see by touching it, by hearing it, by smelling it, all those other senses that are left over. An infant sees it by putting it in his mouth because the taste is, the mouth is the most articulate sensory organ at the time of an infancy. So, and then they still saw it. So see is okay. Did you watch TV? Did you see that show last night? Yeah, we see it. I still watch my television shows now that I got Hulu Plus too. So I watch them. So we could say that, okay? If a person asks if you think a person needs help, they might be standing at an opening and you can tell they're thinking, which way do I go? Feel free to ask, do you need some help? Can I help you? Or I noticed you standing, you looked a little confused. Can I help you? Almost you'd halfway say that to a patron who was not sight impaired. If they were just standing there, you'd probably say, hey, can I help you? You look a little lost. So if it's not going to, be a bad thing to say to a person who is sighted, go ahead and you can do that. The worst thing that could happen is this big, horrible thing. You want to know what it is? They could just say, oh, no, thank you. That's it. Nothing else. So don't worry. If they say no, you just go, okay, that just means they didn't need it at that time. Okay? That's it. So don't worry about it. And you can feel free to do that. Most of the time I'll say no because I don't need it at the time. But there will be a time when I'll say yes, and I have. Okay? Okay. If a person who's blind is about to go into a dangerous area that might be under construction or something like that, go ahead and say, hey, there's a, such and such up. I just wanted to know because there's something coming up that's really kind of dangerous. Okay, thank you. Bye. It's cool. You just don't do it in a, oh my gosh, here comes a, do the normal tone so you don't scare them. Okay? Y'all still here? Okay. Well, I must have pushed one heck of a button. So let me see if I can get it back to normal. Okay. Is this where I am? Oh, mercy. Let's go. Okay. Oh, look at that. Wow, something happened. Okay. All righty. This is it. Okay. So let's talk about pulling or steering a person. What I did to Amy. Not happy. If you're trying to help somebody, actually help them, okay? So that's where sighted guide comes in. So I need everybody to come out into the aisle with their partner. Stay. When you get your partner, I want you to, we are going to practice some sighted guide. Okay. So this is what I want you to do. What you're going to do is you're going to walk this way and out that door. So y'all will turn around. But don't turn around now, because then how can you tell what I just told you? Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to remember to respect that person's dignity. You're going to offer your elbow. You're going to start off by asking them, hi, I noticed you were standing there and you might need some help. Can I help you get there, or something? Something really nice. And then you offer your arm. And then you don't lock them into you, because you're not holding them. They're holding you, remember? And then you walk them. When you walk them, talk to them. Yes, you can talk to the people. You talk to them, and then you ask them, you give them an idea about what's going on. Okay, we're going to turn right here. Oh, we're going to pass some chairs. There's a table out front. I don't want you to run into it, so I'm going to go around the table now. Anything, okay? But just keep them aware that they are somewhere. Because what happens is that if you don't, they are now in the middle of that cosmic, nowhere land, which is really, really, really uncomfortable, okay? Those of you who are playing the blind person, raise your hand. Okay, see now, this is a mess, okay? These two were both, somebody, see, okay. All right, we're going to make a decision. Okay, good. Now, the person who's blind will close their eyes now. The person who's sighted will now take responsibility for the person who's blind. Y'all on my left side here, go ahead and turn around and face that way. You're going to go out around the table and back in the doors. Ready? Go.
A little bit to the left, just to watch these chairs. All right, we're going to go a little bit. Turn to the right, sort of soft right here. There you go.
Be sure to keep talking to the person. I halfway would like to make sure everybody's okay. Good job. I just want to make sure y'all were about. You guys are wonderful talkers. I almost made some left, so I thought about it. Thank you. When you make it back in and get all the way in-ish, go ahead and go back to your seat. But you can open your eyes after that point. Well done. Well done. Y'all give yourselves a hand on that one. Now, let me tell you, I noticed that you guys were so cautious with your people, como as if they were eggs that were not fried. Can you tell me why? Give me somebody speak. Why? Why were you so careful?
Well, I care about her. She's my friend.
Right, you don't want to. She can't see. That's obvious, and she's your friend. What did you? How did you feel regarding responsibility for that person?
I felt I was fully responsible
Right.
I wanted to make sure she was safe.
Okay, good. That's very, very good. And now y'all are thinking like guide dogs. Okay, how about the people who were blind? Let me hear from some of y'all. How was that feeling?
It was definitely different. I've never walked anywhere with my eyes closed, so it was a whole lot of trust in someone else.
That's a big point. Did you hear her? She said it's required a whole lot of trust in someone else.
The conversation helps take your mind off of the fact that you don't know what the heck you're doing.
Right. Well said. Yes.
That's a very critical part of it, I would say. Like you said.
Right. Did you guys hear that? The conversation was very, very important, and it eased his mind considerably, because then he's not all scared about what's going on. It gets his mind off of the fact that he's sort of in this middle of no man's land. Okay? So keep that in mind. You will use that. You will, one day while you are here, or just in life, you will use that, okay? And remember that how you felt responsible. Remember how much responsibility you have as a sighted guide. And in easing their mind, in keeping their dignity, plus getting them to the place they have to go safely, okay? And those of y'all who were the person with a visual impairment, you see how it is. It's a bit scary. It's a bit scary to throw all this trust in, and a lot of y'all know each other. So you kind of giving this trust to someone you kind of know, but you're not sure they really know how to do this, but you know you still know them. How about some stranger that just works in the museum? So you think you were talking now. Ooh, y'all gotta be talking. You gotta be talking, share all kinds of things, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? Let's talk about in a restaurant downstairs. I know this is a sort of a small thing, but I will. When the food comes, and people say, well, how do you tell them what's on their plate so that they don't put their fingers all in it to try to figure out what is there? We use the method that makes it look like a clock, okay? So your sausages are at 9 o'clock, your eggs, they're at 3 o'clock, and that way we can still keep our dignity and find our food and eat without having to touch around and feel for where it is, okay? It's a very simple thing, and it's a big problem, but a simple thing. And a lot of people not knowing the simple thing don't realize it could be a quick fix, okay?
Tiffany,
Yes, ma'am.
when you're in like a restaurant,
Mhm.
I'm assuming hopefully you'd be with other people.
Right.
But with the dog, getting to the ladies' room and not the men's room, is that where a waitress needs to sight and guide?
Yes.
Okay.
And y'all, okay? And when you take a woman into the restroom, and the men, if you take a guy to where the restroom is, when you get them in the door, please don't just leave them in the big open expansiveness of, really, seriously, people do. I don't care, you don't have to take them into the stall, because that'd be a bit humiliating. But lean me on something, you know what I mean? Get me to the washing sinks and just say, okay, I've got you to the sinks. So at least I know, okay, generally sinks are right before you get to the, I can use my own common sense to get to the other spot. But lean me on something and tell me what it is. It's really, really important. I remember the time, and I must have been in first year, 9th grade, and I had to go into the restroom, and I went into the restroom first day, and I just kept thinking, these are some really unusual sinks. So I have to say, yes, it would have been very helpful for someone to lead, and that's one of those situations where they say, go ahead and ask. Hey, you need some help to find it? Go ahead and ask. The worst thing we say is no. If we've been there 100 times, we don't need it. If it's the first time there, yeah, any little bit, because that's one of those you just. And people run out, like as if I'm going to see something, but I just don't see it well enough. But that's another. So anyway, most of the time, if I have the dog with me, I can find the restroom, because I can tell them to find the door, find the, whatever. And then we have the braille on the doors, and I can feel it. And it's now ADA, thank God, that they must have the braille on the door so I can find it.
Would like a friend that guided you there, would they need to stay in the, not
In the vicinity,
stall,
yeah.
But I mean,
Possibly.
Where the sink is.
The person will ask you, hey, yeah, can you wait right here, or do you need me to wait? If you're not sure, ask, hey, you need me to wait, or should I go? A lot of times, we'll remember how we got somewhere. It's almost locked in. What I do, I can remember very well how I started, and then because I'm tracking constantly. So yeah, good question. Good question. Good question. I got the okay. Another thing is leave the doors open or closed. Not half open doors, not half closed doors. Okay? This is for the safety of your patrons. Remember I told you guys about the bewitched drop-in and the blank areas? Remember that? Okay, so if the door is half open, it might be in the blind area, you know, or the empty area or the missing spot. So I'm not going to see it, and I'll run into it and hit it head on. And I've done that before often. So and it's just important that you guys remember that. Drawers, close them all the way. Cabinets, don't leave them half open. Go ahead and close them. Just little bitty safety things that make it so that no accidents really end up happening, okay? All righty, let's see, what's there? That's something about the don't leave them in open space, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. When giving directions, where is the restroom, or where is the, you know, whatever, the place to eat downstairs? Go ahead and say, well, you go down, if they're at the top of the stairs, you go down the stairs, and then the stairs will lead you to the left. Go down the stairs to the left, and then as soon as you come off the bottom of the stairs, if you go to sort of a diagonal to the right a little bit, you'll, you know, like maybe about, you know, 10 feet, you'll see the door or something, you know what I mean? Make it something usable. If you just say over there, or, you know, that way could be anything. So just remember to please give it some kind of real direction. Oh my goodness, that can't be it. Answer some questions. Any questions you got? Any weird questions? I'll tell you. I also have a little bit of a story about.
I was going to ask Miss Tiffany, when you started losing your sight, did your guide dog, I know you were a runner,
Mm-hmm.
did he or she, the dog, run with you?
That's a good question. I've heard that. Actually, in the races, of course they don't, the U.S. team hires a guide runner for you. And so they have to be someone at your same height and your same stride and your same arm distance and everything. It's just so calculated, and they have that person for you. I tried to get my dog to jog with me just for the sake of jogging around the neighborhood and stuff like that. But since they weren't built for that, they kind of, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. This one will not. Under no circumstances. I tried it one time, and I was pulling the leash and trying to get him to come on. Come on! Now, when you're running and you're blind and you're begging the dog to catch up, it stops being a benefit really quickly. So yeah, that we don't do that. No, not at all. No.
A question?
Okay.
I happened to be at the desk in the museum when you came in to the museum,